What the fuck is Walt Disney doing? What are they doing? So, Walt Disney is remaking Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in a live action movie. And there's a little controversy because the actress playing Snow White is not white. She is Mexican. And some people are really pissed about it. Personally, I really don't give a shit. She can be Mexican. She could be Why don't we just make her sub-Saharan African? I want to see Snow White walking around you know, she's getting like the poison, like whatever the fuck. In this case, I'm imagining it's going to be the poison taco she takes a bite out of. Listen, and I've been waiting so I could rip on this a little bit because my father was Mexican, so y'all can't say shit to me. Don't come at me with the fucking white boy bullshit. No, you're racist and you're racist. It's racist. No, it's not. No, it's not. I know a lot about this people, so let's talk about it right now. Right now, we know that the new Snow White's going to smell like laundry. Mexicans smell like laundry. It's not a bad smell either. I'm just saying, like, you know, obviously I'm joking with all this. Although I have to say, a good majority of Hispanic, particularly Mexican people that were in my family always smelled like laundry. We didn't all fucking live together like most of them do. I'm just... I can't help it, okay? This is all going to be jokes, but if you get pissed off, I really don't give two fucks anymore. So there's a Mexican-American actress playing Snow White. And, yeah, I mean, she's pretty. She looks like she could be Snow White. They had a couple stills from this movie that you have to go Google them now. I'm telling you, Google new Snow White live-action Disney piece of garbage on Google Images and find out. But they couldn't have the Seven Dwarfs, right? You know they don't have the Seven Dwarfs because dwarves are bad. That's misrepresentation. That's horrible. So now they have it's Snow White and the Seven Magical Beings. What in the fuck is a magical being? What is that? When I think of a magical being, I'm thinking of like a Buddhist. Like, I don't know, some Tibetan asshole. What's he going to show up? Going to have a bunch of like Buddhists in Buddhist robes and shit following this like Mexican Snow White around, you know, while she's speaking in Spanish. And they're like, okay, I don't understand. Does anybody here speak Spanish? Get the Google Translate out. Listen, I'm going to have fun with this one. I'm sorry. But it's seven magical beings. They can't be the Seven Dwarfs. And one of the people who came out against it is actually, and is, you know, kind of pimping this out, is, now I could be wrong if this is the guy, but there is one dwarf in the group of magical beings that were dwarfs. What are you talking about? First off, what are you talking about? It was grumpy, sneezy, dopey, cracky, pedo-y, narcolepsy. I forgot the name of all of them. But I mean, like, it's classic. Why are you fucking with a classic? Just to please the little blue-haired 22-year-olds who, you know, believe there's 80,000 genders and cry about everything. And by the way, I'm still getting so much shit from the little crybaby generation, you know, Generation Z, Generation C, crybaby. From the McIntyre video I did defending him, like, yeah, just because he didn't work through his trauma the way you didn't address your trauma, you didn't trauma. The fact that you think that him whining online every 5 seconds about some woman sending him underwear and like being mean to him when he was 14 years old is that traumatic to you shows you how delicate and just cowardly and wimpy you are. I'm sorry, that's what I feel about it. My opinion, freedom of speech, remember that. But the seven magical beings, one of them is an actual dwarf size, I don't know if you call them that, little people, a dwarf size actor, right? And he came out and he's like, you know, he's very much against them, the rest of them being dwarfs. Yeah, because you got the role of the fucking dwarf. Do you know how many actors they've put out of you put so many actors out of work, not that these people get that much work in the first place. They're struggling. You're talking about a minority group, which, you know, this is supposed to be all-inclusive new, you know, wokey new white generation white, generation Snow White thing. I don't know. It's supposed to be as Gen Z Snow White from what I can tell. And sorry, that's the way it's looking at me. But yeah, they're all for inclusivity, and, you know, we should have everybody in the movies. But then why is the little people community shut out of the movie? It's seven dwarfs. What the fuck are you, seven magical people? And by the way, of course they're all multicolored. It's not even that they're multicolored. Look at the seven dwarfs, or the seven magical beings. Look at a picture of them. They look like six people who just walked out of a rehab. There's nothing to indicate that they're with Snow White. They're not all wearing the same little uniform. What kind of weirdo bullshit? Why don't we just go all the way batshit and fucking crazy with this movie? I want Snow White to be addicted to pills. I want her popping shit like crazy. I want her to be like, you know, no, I hope there's no Prince Charming or everything. I want a lesbian. Let's bring a lesbian in, like a real butch one to sweep her off her feet, you know? The witch and all that. Why have a witch? Ooh, witch could be a bad thing. She's the evil Wiccan. Let's do that. Some, like, you know, bitch who worships her third eye and does, you know, like yoga lessons around the fucking place I live and talks like this and believes a wheatgrass smoothie is the way to go with everything. Like, let's just make it as crazy as you want it to be and as safe as you want it to be, because you obviously want to tell the real story. And that's my problem with it. And here's another unpopular opinion that's going to piss a lot of people off. I don't care if roles are revisited and all that. Listen, but I'm seeing a lot more of this where a role, now Snow White, that's a cartoon, so I don't fucking know if she was supposed to be completely white or is Mexican or whatever. I don't know. I don't care really. But I'm just saying that there are a lot of roles that are cast that were for white actors before, that were made, the character was white. And that's just how they were. Maybe it was part of the story, maybe it wasn't. I'm saying if it wasn't part of the story, it's not central to the story, them being white, then toss it out. But I have to wonder, and maybe you guys can tell me, how, I don't know, black actors would feel if we put, predominantly black movie, we put a white actor. Or, in a Hispanic movie, we made it all white people. Like, a specifically Hispanic role, or specifically black role. Like Dorothy Dandridge, she's played by, I don't know, Angelina Jolie. I think people would lose their shit a little bit. It's central to the story. It matters. And I'm saying there's some cases where it didn't matter. Little Mermaid, I didn't give a fuck. She could be, Southwest Asian for all I care. I don't really, she could be North Korean. She had a guy running towards her like that. I'm going to do that story too, but, oh my God. Snow White and them 7 magical beings, like, coming to a crappy, shitty theater near you. I can't. What the fuck next? Just stop it, Disney. Knock it off. You're annoying the shit out of me.